Hey, in case you couldn't tell by the title, I'm looking at R-rated films in this video, which means there's going to be some nudity, some graphic content, and a bunch of other gross stuff. Viewer discretion is advised. What the fuck did I just watch? GokaiOrange! If you know me and have been watching my channel for a while, you'll know I've been on this Saban entertainment kick recently. Especially with their more obscure works, such as this. Back when I did my first Forgotten Saban Shows and Movies video, I had no idea just how deep the rabbit hole went when it came to their more risque material. Finding Blindfold was one thing, but finding a whole slew of these direct-to-video and TV movies was another. When you think of Saban Entertainment, you think of their more child-friendly material, like Power Rangers, Digimon, Samurai Pizza Cats, Sweet Valley High, Big Bad Beetleborgs. A company like Saban would be the last group you'd think of when it comes to adult content. But here we are, with 6 of these movies lined up for me to talk about. Let's get started, shall we? Starting off with the clip shown at the beginning, we have Under Investigation, a 1993 crime thriller starring Harry Hamlin and Joanna Pakula. When a dead woman shows up in an artist's apartment, painted in a ritualistic murder, loose cannon Harry Keaton meets up with the artist's wife, Abby Jane, during the investigation and slowly starts falling in love with her. Unfortunately, evidence against Abby also begins turning up. I'm not gonna lie, this is one movie I wish I could see. And that's saying something because it's the only one that isn't fully online. All I got is the opening, one scene near the climax, and the film's trailer. So I can't really give my 2 cents on it properly. As with most of these R-rated Saban films, expect Shuki Levy's masterful score behind it. And with this one, we have a triple knockout with not just Noam Kanyal, but Amatz Plesner, who not only was a music producer for the X-Men cartoon, but was also the composer for the Digimon movie. From such humble beginnings. Under Investigation. Never has painting happy little trees looked so erotic. Don't beat your devil to this, please.
Under Investigation, as searingly erotic as Basic Instinct, coming soon from New Line Home Video.
Under Investigation wasn't the only Saban movie Joanna Pakula was in. Released the same year, we have Black Ice, or A Passion for Murder, if you want to be technical here. Black Ice is another movie from our old friend Robert Vince, who, if you don't remember, also directed Just One of the Girls and every talking dog movie that didn't involve Raja Gosnell. Pakula plays Vanessa, a woman on the run from Quinn, a rogue government agent played by Michael Ironside, who is tracking her down for the accidental death of a senator-to-be. While on the run, she comes across Ben Shore, played by Michael Nouri, a down-on-his-luck taxi driver who aspires to be a writer. Shore is paid to help get her out of the country, but Quinn is right behind them. This film arguably has the least amount of Saban regulars involved. While writer Arn Olson wrote the screenplay to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, that's about it. Okay, aside from Lance H. Robbins, who's the executive producer for almost every Saban movie, even when they made the transition to family films. Despite that, the film's opening is easily my favorite part, showing a variety of passengers riding in Ben's taxi, all set to some really snazzy music.
Hospital? Emergency?
I wish I could give credit to Shuki on this, but that honor goes to Amin Bhatia, who really knocks it out of the park. If you're interested, I'd say give this film a watch. The script might be crap, but the music and acting saved it for me. On March 26, 1986, 24-year-old Paul Sams was changing a flat tire in the emergency lane of Interstate 15 when an 18-wheeler struck both him and his car, killing him. The only other witness, Paul's friend, can only give a sketchy description of the truck. Despite this, Paul's father, Claude Sams, set out to find his son's killer, even if it seemed fruitless. His determination to find the truck driver sparked nationwide attention, which obviously caught the attention of Hollywood, who attempted to turn his story into a movie. This eventually culminated in a 1992 TV movie by you-know-who called Silent Thunder. I can't say for sure what was changed and what wasn't for this movie, but I do know one thing. They certainly made sure whoever did kill his son quite the asshole!
You there, Red Robin?
Yeah, I'm here, Python.
Watch me dust this bitch.
Jesus!
What the hell did you do?
By the way, this is R-rated, right? Yeah, that was totally necessary for this story. I don't know if Claude ever did find the killer, but if not, this movie sure gives the closure he desperately needed. Sadly, Claude passed away before the film's release, but even if he failed to catch the truck driver that killed his son, Silent Thunder still sends a powerful message across. Not just about trucking safety, but also the true bond between father and son, even if one of them has already passed on. Alright, let's get back to the good shit. Hey kids, do you think Daphne Zuniga's kinda hot? I know, right? Well, gosh darn it, if only there was a film that showed just how hot she could be. Hey kids, wanna see that? Kind of? That's what I thought. Prey of the Chameleon is the tale of J.D. and Carrie, played by James Wilder and Alexandra Paul, respectively, a former couple with a rocky relationship due to J.D. leaving Carrie at the altar. J.D. is stopping by his small Texas hometown 4 years after the incident, on his way to California for a job offer. However, before he leaves, he begins developing a relationship with a woman, played by Zuniga, whom he helps with a broken car. Unbeknownst to him, she is an escaped serial killer that takes the name, appearance, and mannerisms of whoever she kills. Will Carrie be able to prevent JD from becoming her next victim? I knew this would be nice and steamy as soon as the film started. How do you ask? Not even one goddamn minute in and we already have a sex scene, complete with tits. Again, this is a very interesting premise. I kinda wish this wasn't a TV movie, but instead a legit theatrical movie. Zuniga is really good in this, and with a better budget, and maybe even a better script, this could become a legitimately great thriller.
The more she changes, the more she stays the same.
Now, who wants to see a Saban courtroom drama? No takers? Well, what if it involved a potential rapist? Ah, now I got your attention. Well, without further ado, here's Stalker, Shadow of Obsession. Yeah, I see the similar titling. Let's just cut to the movie. Movie? Movie! That's your cue! The moment's arrived! Where's the movie? Oh, for the love of Heim, I just checked this thing a few days ago! Now what? No, Blindfold, I already talked about you. I have no reason to... Seriously, I've said all I needed to say about you. Will you please leave? Fine! I guess there is a few more things I can say about this movie. Did you know Shannon Doherty and Judd Nelson were briefly engaged during filming? Well, they were! Turns out Doherty was currently in the middle of an abusive relationship. And, she took a film like this... Why? Okay, let's turn things up a notch. Remember when I said I wouldn't show you the sex scene with I'm Yours playing over it? Well, the original version I had was a heavily censored cut from Japan, which kinda awkwardly skips over the whole thing. Watch.
Now, what we're going to try and do is move slowly out of the game playing into a more spontaneous situation.
Well, that's interesting because that's just what happened. You sure you don't want to look at the pictures?
Yeah, that was kind of an awkward cut, wasn't it? Well, luckily for me, I have, in my possession, another Japanese version that has the scene intact. Which means I still have to censor it. So for your viewing pleasure, the scene.
Well, that's interesting because that's just what happened.
Okay, baby. Now let's see what you got. That's it. Come on. Turn around. Show it to me. Show it to me. Come on, turn back. Come on.
If I could have my way, right by my side you'd stay, and in my heart I feel that all my love is real. So don't you walk away. You have to hear my prayer. Hear me out. If you call out my name, I'm yours.
Alright. I think that's enough. Can we turn it to something else? Put on something more wholesome. Put on... Sweet Valley High.
This is so cool.
Yeah. We have one of these like every month.
I should invite my twin sister Jessica next time. This is totally her scene.
Oh dear God, why is the song playing here? This is a tween show, Saban! Why are you putting a song from a sexual thriller in a tween girl show? Shuki, why? One thing to take note of all these other movies is that all of them are classified as thrillers, which is a pretty standard genre for the R rating. But I do have an R-rated Saban film that isn't a thriller, but a comedy. The film I consider to be a companion piece to Just One of the Girls, it's Round Trip to Heaven. Simple garage worker Larry, played by Corey Feldman, discovers a briefcase full of money in a Rolls-Royce that's brought in. Along with his cousin Steve, played by Zach Galligan, they take the Rolls-Royce and the money to Palm Springs, where a famous beauty pageant is being held to look for love. However, the guy who owns the car, a notorious gangster played by Roy Sharkey, will stop at nothing to get the money back. The first thing I want to bring up about this is the opening song, Home in My Heart by Stan Bush. It's a really great song, but then again, Shuki and Noam are the composers, so no surprise there. What's interesting is that this song has appeared elsewhere. It's played during Claude Sam's wedding in Silent Thunder.
It's always there.
And it even shows up in Sweet Valley High. Why is Sweet Valley High a dumping ground for Levy's discography? The film itself, I unfortunately have to admit, is pretty trashy. I'm actually surprised Larry wasn't wearing a leisure suit. Considering the time this was made, alongside the idea that these two guys are after women solely for their looks, it's aged about as well as, well, the Leisure Suit Larry game. Except Love for Sale. That game is still fun.
Do you know where I could get a kumquat?
What did you say?
Kumquat?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, well, once again, thanks for your lack of help.
Slut.
I'd only recommend this if you're that big a fan of Corey Feldman, or you just like watching trashy movies like this. For everyone else, leave it in the past and move on. So at the end of the day, why did Saban make these kind of movies when they were well known for children's media? I have two theories about this. The first is that they were simply trying to branch out. I'll admit, if I was stuck with a company that solely worked on nothing but kids stuff, I'd be desperate to try something more risque. Considering just how many of Saban's regulars at the time worked on them, Shuki Levy, Noam Kanyal, Winston Richard, Ron Wasserman, Ronnie Hadar, heck, even Haim Saban himself, you can tell this wasn't just a B-team effort. Many who worked on Power Rangers worked on these movies. The other is the fact that Mighty Morphin wasn't out yet and they didn't have that big a show yet. All these movies were actually being made and released at some point in the show's development. From 1992, when the pilot was first being made, to 1994, when it proved to be a big hit, these movies were being pumped out by Saban. Once Mighty Morphin became a hit, the R-rated movies slowly petered out, with Blindfold being one of the last. It's a very interesting section of Saban's history that's vastly overlooked, and I think these movies deserve more attention. So if any of them look even the least bit interesting, I highly suggest looking them up. They are technically available on YouTube, but if you really want to go the extra mile, there's eBay and Amazon. I'm GokaiOrange, asking, are these technically owned by Disney? Because that would be hilarious if it's true.